Well, I've always believed, and I always try to treat my women in my team the same way as I would like to be treated. So with absolute trust, respect and dignity. I feel somewhere it's not only the women which actually require that support to deal with matters at home, it's also our male colleagues which really require them. And I always try to actually create an environment wherein the male colleagues also feel free, to come up and essentially say that they need to be home, perhaps to, take care of their child or any of that. What I've seen is that that essentially has created an environment in the team wherein the male colleagues also understand the female colleagues much better. Well, here I would say it's a yes and a no. The pace did really change, though I have no regrets about it because I feel it gave me time to actually adapt to being, my new role as a mother. On the quality of work, I did not really see any, difference, given the fact that if you are, if you do have value in something, you always will have your seniors actually involve you in that. So it's been interesting in my, when I had my first child, I was barely like 4 years in the profession. And at that point in time, the maternity leave used to be just like around 3 months. And 2 months into my maternity leave, I had my mentor, who was also the founder of my previous organization, call me up and say that you are not going to quit. And that actually gave me a lot of confidence and comfort, a feeling that you really wanted. And to that extent, I would say it was not a situation where there was any difficulty in really coming back. One thing which was very clear is I never really shirked away volume or work in itself. I just felt having that flexibility to be allowed to be working from home or to be looking at your child when you need to, that's something which I really looked up to. When I had my second child, it was very interesting, and I was, pleasantly surprised with my organization itself. I was 9 months, pregnant with my second one, and at which point in time I was announced as the tax leader and the head of a practice. With my, mentor knowing very well that I would be going on a maternity leave. That in itself again gave me that confidence that the organization really means well, and true talent is always paid off for. Well, this may sound a little atypical. I mean, I've had, I've led many landmark rulings, so which are, rulings which are referred to even today, like Azadi, Morgan Stanley, etc. I have, been one of the youngest partners, at 7 years of experience to be announced to a partnership. As well as, yes, I've had, a lot of rankings by international directories on the top lawyers, with respect to tax and private client. But if you really ask me, and of course, these have been extremely happy moments for me. Having said that, if you ask me, what has really made me proud and really happy is, when my older son actually had, they had an impromptu TED talk in school, and he was just about 10 years old. And I, being an extremely, mother with a lot of guilt, thinking that I'm not really giving enough time to the children, when they were asked to speak about a role model, he had a lot of his friends who chose Abdul Kalam, who chose Mother Teresa, and a lot of the others. And my son decided to, to speak as his role model, as his mother. And that's something which really made me feel that I did something right. And I realized that he himself felt so proud about the fact that I am a working mother and also a very, also a very caring mother at home. And I did have his teacher actually who called me up and who did tell me as to how proud they felt when, my son actually gave that speech. So that's something which really made me feel very happy.